Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Amber Moore. I am the host of Real Boys Talk podcast. As many of you may know, this podcast is about unpacking your parachute and packing it for the future. So we did our first episode, which was about unpacking your parachute, which actually gave us the understanding of what we had put in our parachute. Just to recap real quick, we learned that in our parachute, we had some things in there that didn't belong in there, were not ours, and some things that were missing. There were 5 things that must be in our parachute no matter what. One is health, career, relationship, image, and spirituality. And as we talked about each one and unpacking them, we literally kind of cleansed them, and now we're ready to start packing it back. So here we go. First one that we're going to talk about is health. Health covers a lot of different areas, and we're going to talk about that, as well as I've mentioned before, the podcast is actually designed for you to take offline. And what I mean by that, have a conversation after the show. Talk to other people about what has been said on the show. What I'm giving you is my opinion, how I see things, and the viewpoint from a stud. But I will also give you some very good tips and information from some experts that I know, as well as invite a couple of my expert friends to kind of join us and kind of talk with us, like we're going to do today. Today we're going to have, our guest is going to be Demetria Franklinz. She is the owner of Superior Physiques. She is a professional bodybuilder and a personal trainer. She's going to talk to us about healthy living and how to change our mindsets and some of the things that are happening out there that are kind of trendy and what all that entails. So, once again, this podcast is part of a series, and also to let you know, coming soon, we're going to be having another podcast visual part of Real Boys Talk called Shooting the Shit. Yes, that's what it's called, Shooting the Shit. And what it is me and a couple of friends. We're going to sit around. We're going to talk about some subjects that really matter to studs. Our first subject that we're going to talk about in the first podcast is what do you bring to the table and being comfortable in your skin. So you want to stay tuned for that, as well as continue listening today to what we have to say about unpacking your parachute and packing it healthy. Stay tuned. Now that we are discussing healthy living, let's look at some things. We have to look at the overall picture of what healthy living is. What everybody would like for it to be is, I'd like to lose some weight. Well, that's not everything that you have in healthy living. Okay, healthy living is like understanding stress, making sure that you work out, making sure that you do have a healthy diet, that you're eating properly, that you're getting proper rest. All of those things come into play. And mental health, spiritual health. All those things are also a part of that, even though spirituality is part of our 5 components that we have in our parachute. So, as I said, we're going to talk about health. And health, we're going to look at several different levels of health and what we can do and what's out there that we might be missing. All right. So one of the things that we got to look at is in a study that we did in the focus group, that was one of the bigger things with healthy living. We had there are a lot of us that are masculine identified or masculine of center, studs, ADOMs, dominants, AGs, whatever you want to call yourself. As long as your definition has a masculine tone to it, then I consider you a stud. Now, with that, I say this because I know for us, breast cancer and cervical cancer runs really high amongst our group of black lesbians because of the fact that we are kind of disconnected from our bodies. So we don't really deal with the feminine part of our body because we try to be masculine so much. Well, please understand, your masculinity will mean nothing if you do not take care of your femme body. And that's one of the things that we had to look at when looking at the beginning grounds of Real Boys Talk. In the focus groups that we did, we noticed that was one of the things is that our health was a major issue and how we approach that. For example, there are a lot of studs out there that will not go get breast checks. They will not get cervical checks either. They will not get their annual pap smear. And the reason for that is because they are they don't want to go because they got to put the legs in the stirrup, and it's very uncomfortable, and I understand that. But here's the thing you have to look at. You have to take care of your body, and you want to make sure that you're putting the right things in and that you're not harming your body. So getting checkups are a very good base ground for you, for any of us, to know where we are and what we need to do to achieve better health or healthy life. So when I look at this, I'm going to talk about, first thing out the box, of course, is our physical health. And when we say that, I'm talking about our weight sizes. So a lot of us, yes, majority of Americans are overweight. We're all in the obese line. My weight, I'm 5'1". I should weigh 127 pounds. Me personally, if I weighed 127 pounds, I'm going to look like I'm on some serious drugs. So that's not where I'm perfectly happy at. I really, and this is going to be a really stretch, I am actually looking at being 175. I think I'm 186 now. So my 175 is where I really want to be. Now, why do I pick that weight? That for me is because I'm not actually looking to really be on a loss of weight as much as I am building muscle and mass. So there's a difference. So you have some people, you got to know what you're trying to do with your body as well. That's why, if you remember, in our first podcast about unpacking our parachute, I told you guys get a notebook so that you can journal what's going on, so that you'll know what you're kind of wanting. You'll see some of the goals that you want to create, some things that you want to do. That's what that journal is really for. I've been using it because when getting into the health part, like I mentioned, I personally want to lose weight and build muscle mass a lot more. So I'm looking to just kind of move some things around. All right. And like I said, let's talk about mental health. Mental health plays a very big role because, as we all know, we're wanting to lose weight or wanting to live healthier so that our bodies are healthy. And that is part of losing weight but it's also changing the mindset. So we also have to look at the mental health does affect our physical health. There are times when if you are mentally stressed or you've got a lot going on in your life and you're just not, you haven't mentally let go of some stuff, that will hinder the loss of your goal to reach your health, to reach your weight goal. Okay. So you have to look at that as well. And when we say health, when we talk about mental health, and that is a big topic because in the African American community, we like to tell you to go talk to your pastor, those kind of things, but we never tell you really to go talk to someone professional. I am telling you today that if mental health, there's nothing wrong with you going to lay on someone's couch and having a conversation. I do it because it's something that helps me to be able to deal with a lot of different things that I do in my life. And because I wear so many hats, it is healthy for me to go and lay on someone's couch and get the anger or the upset or the issues or whatever it is that I have going on out. That in itself is a way to relieve stress, okay, which will also help you with being able to curb your appetite, being able to not binge eat on junk food. You don't get depressed, those things that hinder you, and the anxiety of going, oh, I'm on a diet is not there. That's one reason why I like to say we have to change the narrative to not talk about losing weight as much as we are trying to be healthy and being healthy beings. Another thing is that, and I don't knock talking to your pastors. Please take, if you need that and that's who you trust with your mental health, then by all means. My motto is, as long as you're getting some help, that's a good thing. All right, if it's helping you, then by all means go. The stress, a lot of times we can't tell the difference between good stress and bad stress. I am a very big fan of that, in terms of the fact that my body does not know what is good stress and what is bad stress. So my body just reacts. It is stress. And I've had it where, if you don't know, stress and anxiety can cause you to have a rash. It can cause you to have an upset stomach. It can cause you to have acid reflux. It can cause you to have migraines. It can cause you to have all kinds of things happening to you, high blood pressure, all kinds of things. For me, it has caused me to have chronic migraines, and I also have anxiety. So I live with those things, and I have depression that goes with it. So mental health for me is very important for me to understand what triggers it, how to deal with those triggers so that it doesn't increase, because I live with a migraine every day. I live with a migraine that for the average person is probably a 12. For me, it's probably about a 4. That is what I have been able to do, that to make sure that I can maintain and continue to move on. I take whatever medications I need and keep going. And those are the things that you also have to look at, is that sometimes medications that you're taking work against each other. So a lot of times I would say I always do this first. I look at what the natural opportunities are that I can do. For example, if I have high blood pressure and I'm not on a pill, prescription from my doctor, then I can always do apple cider vinegar. I can do some cinnamon. I can do beet juice is really good for that. You can do different things. Different foods will give you what you need to be able to uh, kind of change those ailments that you might have, like high cholesterol, like um, high blood pressure. Any of those things can lower and really get you. I've seen people who were type 2 diabetics by just changing their eating habits and things that they do. They didn't have to take the pills anymore. So those are opportunities that you can, but you need to talk to your doctor, of course, before even doing those things. So keep that in mind. But stress, you need to know what stresses you out. A good way to get rid of stress is to work out. Anybody who tells you you shouldn't work out, that's not good. You need to work out because if you're somebody that sits behind a desk at least 8 hours a day for your job, you need to make sure that you take the time out to work out. That means if you're not doing anything but just doing cardio, and cardio is just walking around your building, walking up and down like 2 flights of steps, any of those things will be the things that you can do to increase, one, your circulation, two, it also increases your lungs capacity. All of those things, we need those things to keep us healthy. Um, if you are one of those people that you don't get out a lot, you need to be able to get out because your body strives on vitamin D, which is what you get from the sun. So you do want to always make sure you're outside at some point and enjoying the weather when it's a good day. And like I said, exercise is a major thing. Just changing your eating habits. I am one of those people that tells people don't give up what you like. If you are a potato chip eater, by all means, it's hey, I want you to rock your potato chips, but here's how you do it in a fashion where it will be healthier for you. Is instead of getting a big bag of Lay's potato chip, how about you get a small bag, and how about you get the baked? Then you're taking out a lot more of that cholesterol, you're taking a lot more of the calories, and you're getting a tiny bit healthier. Plus, you're not eating a big bag, you're eating one small bag, which is also limiting your intake. Portions are really important in terms of trying to change your eating habits. A lot of this stuff, it's going to get more in depth when we talk to our special guest today, Demetria Franklin. Again, she is a personal trainer and a professional bodybuilder who is my best friend, who is going to talk to us today in a little while about healthy living. And I've asked her some questions, and she's going to give some kind of like some guidance, so to speak. One of the other things that I think that helps with mental health and will help with physical for you to be able to obtain the goals that you want is to also find, like I said, a way to alleviate the stress. And one of the ways you can do that is by doing yoga. Yoga is a really big thing, and meditation. I know there's people that do it. I'm not a proficient person in either one. I'm just now getting myself acclimated with chakras and crystals and um, being able to do meditation and being able to do yoga. But I know that yoga is really good because it does strengthen the body. It does help with flexibility, and it gives you better balance. It helps with, it's considered low impact. So if your doctor says that, hey, you can't really be doing high impact, which means you can't really be in the gym lifting weights and all that kind of stuff, but you need something low, which is walking. If you just walk for 15 minutes, put on 3 songs, they're 5 minutes each, and you walk, turn around 3 more songs, you've literally walked almost probably a half a mile. So you have to look at those things, and you build those things up as you go. But yoga will reduce stress. It also is very good for the physical and the mental health. And I believe that that's something that you can add into your workout. For me, I work out full body 3 days a week. So I work upper body and lower Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, let's say. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I should do yoga on those days. And that's just low stuff, just to kind of just to stretch out the muscles that that I tore up the day before to create a mass, to increase the size. So if I do yoga, I'm also stretching them out and moving them around as well, which is always very good when you're trying to build muscle mass. All right. So those are things that we got to look at in terms of our health. Yoga is a good thing to do, and that's very helpful when we're trying to get rid of stress. Now, another thing that we can look at in terms of health, like I said, we got to look at the mental, because if your mental is not, if you've not released, let go of some things that are holding on to your mental, that is not going to help you for if you have these goals to lose weight, or if you have goals that you want to, change the body tone, change what you do, change how you are, even if you're just trying to change your eating habits. If you have not let go of some mental baggage that you've been holding on to, please note it's going to affect what you try to do, your physical goals that you're trying to achieve. You might not be as enthusiastic. You could be like less, wanting to do it, not motivated, because you're still carrying this baggage with you, whatever that baggage is. Once again, when we're packing our parachute, we can't just put anything in there. We want to make sure we're putting only the things that are necessary. So right now we're looking at healthy living. Healthy living means we're going to have to change some of our eating habits. I am a bacon person. Will never give up bacon. I do not care what anyone says when it comes to that, because I love bacon. But what I have done is I have cut down my intake of bacon. I don't eat bacon as much. I'm still a pork lover. I'm still going to eat pork ribs. It's not going to change here. That's just how life is for me. There's certain things, like I said, I will get rid of, and there's some things that I have cut down on, and there's some things that I've added. I've added a lot more variety of vegetables. I do squash now. I'll do asparagus. I do broccoli. I do Brussels sprouts. Those kind of things. I'm trying to branch into some more. I've done, what else have I done? I do cauliflower. So I do those kind of vegetables. I do corn as well. So, um, those are things that I look at for myself in terms of me. Some of the things I've changed. I've lowered my intake of pork. No, I have not gotten rid of it, but I have lowered it. I have substituted now turkey instead of getting hamburger meat when I do spaghetti. I even did it for some of my taco meat. So those people who know me know that I can eat tacos every single day, because I will either do shrimp tacos, fish tacos, chicken tacos, or I'll do beef taco, right? So I've now gotten into where I will do taco. When I meal prep on Sundays. And meal prepping is another thing for health purposes that is also very beneficial to you. To be able to meal prep is major. And what that does is that cuts down on you having to, one, go out. You will not purchase food outside of your home. So that means you stay out of the fast food, processed foods. If you go on a Saturday and you cook 2 meats and like 4 vegetables, and you put them together in proportions, and that's the things that a lot of people are on. We're going to talk to my friend Demetria Franklin about the keto diet, and what that means and what that does. She's going to tell you some things about that are healthy and things that you should look out for. But what you want to make sure that you are doing is you want to make sure that you are putting in good stuff and you're getting stuff out. If you're working out, like when I do full body, I need to make sure I'm putting the proper amount of protein back in. So I have to make sure that is something that I am doing. And that is why we focus on, you got to make sure you're putting the right foods in. Make sure you are taking a multivitamin. It's needed. Everything that we have does not have as much vitamins as we possibly need. So you're going to have to make a supplement of a vitamin to help add to what you actually need in your body. Especially when you start working out. And working out is meaning anything that you're going to be doing that's going to be exercise wise. All right, whether it's low impact, whether it is high impact, whether it's heavy weights, whether it's low weights, hyper repetitions, whatever the case may be, and the goals that you're trying to set. All right. So one of the other things that we got to look at is, as we look at healthy living, we want that mental. Make sure that we are getting the right person to lay on the couch to have conversations with about some issues that we have, or about the luggage that we're trying to get rid of, because as we get rid of luggage, we are also progressing to another level. And what I mean by that is, as I dump a piece of luggage, I'm enlightened on what happened in that situation, whether good, bad, or otherwise, whether it was my fault or somebody else's fault. I'm taking that and I'm processing and I'm getting rid of it. And with that, I'm lightening my load, which means that frees my mind. That gives me space to learn something new. That gives me space to forgive. That gives me space to be able to get into myself on the things that I may be going through. With that, letting go of that luggage that I just processed and got rid of, and said, oh, okay, that's how that works. That's how that's going to be with my life. Then, okay, I can deal with that. And this is how I'm going to deal with it. And then that also is a great way to be able to get the mind right. And with and getting the mind right, that means that I need to accept the things that are true about myself. Okay, so we have to be able to accept the fact. For example, I'm 5'1". I am never going to be tall, and I'm never going to be thin. So I have a certain body frame that is kind of hippie in my family. Women in my family have hips, so that's something that I carry. So I have to accept that is the body frame that I have. And I say that in the fact that once you accept that and you can deal with that, then you're able to put together, you're able to put more, or actually put a better plan together to build who you want your body to be on a physical level, on healthy living and healthy eating and healthy, thinking, all of those things. Because a lot of times we get hung up on the fact that you cannot be a particular frame, like you don't get to achieve the goals that somebody else that's smaller, that might be your friend, and she might be thinner, and it's easy for her, she can put stuff in and it doesn't do anything, it doesn't phase her body at all, she can eat anything. Well, you might not be that person. So we have to accept those. Once we've done that, I think that we have a better understanding of the importance of our body. Again, you must get those yearly checkups. A lot of times we as studs, we just don't do it. It's something that we need to do. It's something that is a must for us to continue to have the masculinity and to have that to be free, to be able to be ourselves. We have to take care of the film body that we have. So I want to encourage everyone to please do that. To maintain your masculinity, you must take care of the body that you're in. And that body is it's a feminine body, and we have to take care of it no matter what happens. One of the things that I do want you to look at or look for is on Facebook. You're looking for Bethany Kelly, which is Be Phenomenal. She's a DJ as well as a counselor and helps with mental health. She's awesome. And if you can't find her on realboystalk.org, on our website, we are putting up some of her. She does Monday, mental health Monday. And so we are putting up some of those kind of little, I think they take about 5 minutes. She might have done one that's a little bit longer than that, might be 30 at the most. And she does them every Monday. They're excellent ways for us to be able to get in touch with who we are and some of the issues that we might be having on a small scale that, just listening to her give you some tips on how to deal with some stuff can really actually help. I know she did one about anxiety, and it really did help me. To be able to kind of try some things out, different exercises, and even how to deal with some of it as anxiety as it comes on. So please keep that in mind. Bethany Kelly is our doctor of Monday mental health, which is awesome. It's actually great. Also, I want to let you know that the interview that you're about to partake in is pre-recorded. So we do have different levels of recording that we've done. We are getting better at our technology. So we will start doing video as well, so that it will be a video, so you can actually see me. So we're branching into things. But I do want to get this started because I know that Demetria has great information to give us that's going to help us with our healthy living. All right. And so right now we're going to be talking with Demetria Franklinz, who is a personal trainer, best friend of mine, and a professional bodybuilder. Say hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
So how have you been today?
I am doing well. Blessed favors.
All right. So
for the new year.
Exactly. So we are, as you probably know, I've told you that we are talking about healthy living. And with healthy living, we are talking about the different things that we need to put in our parachute for 2020. So what I'd like to start out with, if I may, is kind of you tell us your background and how you got into bodybuilding and into healthy living.
Well, actually, healthy living was a choice I made when I was in high school. It's kind of an ironic story. I was in marine biology class, and it was actually an assignment to take 30 days and notate what you were eating and what serving sizes, what time of day, and the caloric count. And that was the assignment. And it was kind of an awakening for me. Already being an athlete. I've been an athlete since I was in elementary school. So I played basketball in high school, college, pro. And I noticed that while I was playing basketball, during the time I had this assignment, that like in tournaments, I feel really, really tired because of course the things that they would buy for high school kids was stop at the hamburger shop, or stop at the fried chicken place because, I think you could buy the whole team very cheaply. When I didn't eat beef or things like that, and my mom would send my food with me to tournaments or she'd bring it, I felt a lot better on the court. So that was kind of my introduction to learning about how food impacts your body and the life. And then, of course, my family was riddled with cancer and heart disease, and those are the kind of things I wanted to know how to prevent those things in that time in that biology section. So that's where my interest first started.
Okay, cool. And then from there, how did you get into the bodybuilding part?
As I said, I've been an athlete all my life. So, track and field and all those things. So, we always had weightlifting in our curriculum. And I really, really wanted to study kinesiology in college. You're a young college kid, and I grew up with scientists in my family, so I pursued chemistry first and was a police officer and those kinds of things. But it never went away of me wanting to learn about the body, how to be a better athlete, those kinds of things. Well, once I played football for a little while, of course, back then the WNBA wasn't as big as it is today. I'd always kept up with bodybuilding. So the next thing was, what do I do to fill my competitive spirit? And I said, okay, well, I'll see what the bodybuilding is all about. I was already an active judge in the fitness arena and bodybuilding arena. I just wasn't competitive. And of course, came my path. I mean, his name is Demetria, my mentor, and the first bodybuilder I've ever met in person, and the rest is history.
Cool. So, to let people know, this is my best friend, and so I have called upon her several times for my own personal help in terms of me losing weight and getting healthy. And currently, I have been off the wagon, and I'm getting back on. And so we joke and we talk about those things. And so I want to ask you, as you have, in your personal opinion, how do you see, like, I know we always talk about more dominant females because that's what our fraternity is about. And of course, that's what we kind of deal with more so than anything. What are your observations of, and just looking at the dominant African American female? What are you seeing in terms of health, in terms of either health risks, issues that are coming more apparent, or are we being more healthy, more conscious? What are your vibes? Because you're in the industry, what are you seeing as you're doing personal training?
I don't see the rise in our concern for health, because I don't think that that's a thing that's emphasized in our schools that are predominantly majority schools in your health deserts where you don't have the availability of the things that need to be purchased to remain healthy. You're not emphasized that we eat to live and not live to eat. Where how important nutrition is for our learning, how important nutrition is for our development, for our health, and those things are not emphasized many times because of availability. Many times because it's not taught at home. We come from a place of you eat everything that's on your plate, you eat everything that's available. Cost effective, however. Canned foods, processed foods. In the schools now, things are not prepared anymore to process those types of things. Or everything is on a quick and go and go through a drive-through. And because either both parents are working or there's not but one parent or whatever the case may be. So those things about how important it is for the development mentally, the development for disease preventative, and as well as the education, we are just not emphasizing that. Dominant females, we don't go get breast exams, we don't go get blood work, we don't go to the doctors, we don't think those things are important, again, because it's not taught where it's important, especially not here in the United States for minorities.
And I say this a lot, being a part, since I've been a part of Real Boys Talk, it is that I cannot be masculine. I cannot bask in my masculinity or my dominancy as a dominant female if I do not take care of the female body in which I walk in. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we've lost a lot of that as well. And I agree with you on the fact that we don't get checked enough, and I think it's because we are so detached, and we found this out in some focus groups that we did, that we are detached from our female body. So in that, I would like to, I'm going to ask you a couple of other things. Is that I know that the hottest thing, going, there's always the trends, right? There's Nutrisystem, there's, what is that, Weight Watchers, there's Hydroxycut, there's different supplements that are always on the market. And then there's all these different diets. There's the Atkins diets, and now there's the keto diet. What is your take on that? And are we looking at that as a healthy, I hate to say remedy, because I've been trying to get in my podcast that I'm doing and have been doing since my first one. I've been talking about changing the narrative, not saying dieting, but we're doing healthy living. So how are you seeing this keto diet, or this? Is it a trend, or is it very good? And what is your opinion of it? And are we utilizing it correctly?
Well, the first thing is that's very true. The word diet is how we use it should be where it's a lifestyle change, period, from mental, physical, spiritual. The whole being has to be changed and live that way, instead of focusing on, I want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days and then go back to what I used to do. You have to change the mental focus. You have to change why you're eating. You have to change what these things do for the body. Here in the United States, everything that we do is celebrated with food. Everything. You have a business meeting, you have friends come over, you have a wedding, you have that. Any and everything that we gain is all celebrated by food. And then we look for a quick remedy for everything, and because we don't make that lifestyle change. Ketosis is ketogenesis has been around for ages. And athletes have used it for ages, higher professionals as athletes, to get to a certain body fat percentage for that performance or whatever it is that they need to do. But we look for a reason to be able to eat what amount of food we want to eat through whatever new thing that's out. And I don't see where keto is being used the way it should be, because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you have to do portion size and portion control. There was a time I was over 218 pounds, and I knew what to do. I knew what to do before I got there. But of course, things that also add these issues, or depression, or post-traumatic stress disorders that we don't want to record, other things that occur in our lives that cause these issues. Comfort eaters. If it's in the house, we'll go eat it. We'll walk. We get bored. Kinds of things. So there's so many other contributing factors that cause these issues, and we look for these quick fixes. Well, and then we don't study why, because everybody's body is also not the same. So everybody's body doesn't respond, and the female body doesn't respond the same as male bodies do. Again, I lost over 170 pounds. I did no keto. I did no fat free. I did none of that. I just went back to the portion size, back to the combinations of food and eating to live the way I knew all the time.
Awesome. And I've you've taught me those things, and also me being having worked for GNC for so many years, I got to tell people about the fact of, if they would say, well, I don't want to give up my potato chips. And I'm like, well, let's go from the Lay's plain potato chips to maybe the baked. And then let's stop getting the big bag. Let's get a little bag. And then let's wean ourselves off. And let's do some exercising in the meantime. So I know that those are not always, a great step. But I know that everybody needs to take some people need to take those little baby steps. Do you agree? Or you just feel like people should just jump full force in?
No, I definitely agree with that. I think another big issue with having eating disorders and eating too much, too little, not enough, and fads or disorders is because we make it difficult.
What do you mean? What do you mean by make it difficult?
What I mean by make it difficult is you have this whole list of things that you have to go and get. People don't take out the time they don't want to cook, they don't want to prepare, or it's hard. So make it easy. So if for example, a child likes spinach. Okay, you have to understand and expose in them all the greens that are out there. If you know you can get spinach, but they're not going to be Brussels sprouts, it is spinach.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's not make it difficult. The same thing for us. People who say, well, it said on here I have to have a protein drink at 12, but my schedule doesn't allow. What does your schedule allow? 6 a.m.? Well, then do it at 6.
Okay.
And do something else at noon. Make it where it's convenient. Have people that say, should I train in the morning or should I train in the evening? Make it where it's easy for you, where it's not difficult. I always tell people, try to have a gym that you're passing by, not one that you're going to have to drive to, because the average person's not going to get up and drive 30 miles or 20 miles to the gym.
Correct. And a lot of us live in apartment complexes where they have a gym, and we should be able to utilize those gyms, I think, so with that, I would like to ask you also, when you meet someone, or you're starting to evaluate the fact of what do they need to have in their to make what do they need to do, or what do they need to look at. And I know we always look at if they have high blood pressure. I know you deal with if they have diabetes or any kind of health issues. But aside from that, what is the first thing that you would tell someone to do before even coming to you to be a client of yours?
Well, the first thing is I am a concierge, so you can either come to me or I come to you. My first thing is going to be your medical plan. What kind of physical condition are you in and out? Where's your blood work? What are your physical expectations and limitations? Those things first, before you embark on that type of query, because the thing that people do is they want to do what their friend is doing. Well, you don't know what condition your friend is in, so that also puts you back into going and being able to get yourself, examined and go through, your physical checks and things that you don't do already. So let's find out what that is first, and then we move from there on what your goals are, and what it is that you want to achieve. And then I'll sit down with you and we'll make a long-term goal and your short-term goals in the middle, because I believe every goal you put a check mark, by, and you celebrate that. That first check mark is going to that position. That next check mark is that you made contact with me or whoever else it is that you made contact with, to start moving forward in your positive lifestyle. Then you're cleansing of everything from mental to physical, your whole cleansing to begin this lifestyle journey. Write it down. It always is that when you have to look at it, it makes things come to fruition.
And that's one of the things, just to let you know, that's one of the things that I've asked these guys that are listening to us, is to please get a notebook. Because as I mentioned in my first podcast about unpacking your parachute, which was cleaning it out, getting us ready for 2020, this right here, this is our first episode about how to pack it, which is packing healthy living, health-wise. So yes, I'm a very big fan of a notebook, a journal, taking each step, because each little step, I think, because we are such a country of instant gratification, it does help, and it does help motivate people. So let me ask you, what is your opinion about how a relationship can affect someone's goals that they're putting together for healthy living? Whether they're married or they're dating or they're in a relationship, does it affect us at all, or it does not?
Let me step back and address something first before I go to that. You mentioned something. The thing I want people to understand is the definition of the word supplement and supplementation.
Okay.
It's in addition to what you're lacking in your nutrition. You don't supplement first. You eat first. So whatever you're lacking, so you address the I hate to call them diet pills and things like that, but thermogenic. And you want to make sure that your nutrition is leading in the right direction. And then if you start, running in the roadblocks and things like that, because your body does get comfortable, and we'll fight you. That's just the way the body is. It gets comfortable, and it doesn't like what you're doing to it, but it continues to eventually cooperate. And then definitely get with a physician before you take any of these different thermogenics. Addressing relationships it is much easier when everyone in the house is kind of focused toward the same direction. Even if everybody's not eating the same, but similar. It's also easy when you have children in the home. I hear people say, "Well, my child won't eat this." Well, they don't grocery shop. You do. They will do what you do. If you read books, they read books. If you eat this way, they eat that way. They do what you do. So if it's introduced as the younger they are, then they will develop those habits on their own as they grow. And yes, you have the more you support each other, the better success that you have in those relationships or in those marriages. I do agree with that. I do agree it could be detrimental and it could be uplifting on both ends. Unless you're a very, very strong person, which you're talking to one that this is what I have to do to be a competitive bodybuilder on the pro level, which is way different than recreational from my training to my nutrition. So around me, I kind of am able to block that out because I've been an athlete for so long. But that's difficult too. It's a whole lot easier when you have that.
Okay. And so we in this series that I'm doing of packing your parachute, we're as I mentioned, we're talking about health first. We're going to talk about image. How does healthy in your knowledge and in your experience, how does changing the narrative of someone's health affect, or how will that affect their surroundings, let's just say their mental outlook, and also possibly their image?
So the thing is, first of all, when your lifestyle is on a healthy upline and upbeat, and your nutrition, you're not tired. You don't have where I don't feel like this. I'm throwing your body once where you will not be able to sleep or sit still or be sedentary for long because your body is ready to go. You're mentally aware. You're also more positive about things around you. So things that may look negative to you have a lot to do with how your lifestyle is, and does have tremendous to do with your nutrition. So the more positive that lifestyle is, the more positive your image is you have on your own. And you do that when you even go out into the public. What is it that you're doing? Look at how you're looking and how you're feeling. Those pheromones are exuberant. So definitely images is a plus because you will feel that mentally, because mentally you're healthy. People don't tie nutrition in with mental state enough. And your brain functions on all of those hormones. Hormones are affected by how you eat your life.
See, and that's what I want people to understand, is that everything around you has that effect on the healthiness, on the mental, on the body, on the physical, and on any of the goals that they're trying to set. Now, you and I both, we've laughed about this many times, but we both have heard people say, "I don't like water." But how important is water in this process of what you and I have been talking about in changing the narrative of dieting to healthy living?
The reason that I chuckle about that is because water is tasteless. Unless you're in an area where, it's either got a lot of chemical in it to keep the chlorine down, or those kinds of things with the minerals, or you're in an area, that's a lot tougher on the water. You have what you call a hard water or things like that. But water is tasteless, so I chuckle when people say, I don't like water. I'm like, how can you not like something that's tasteless? But your body is 83 to 85% water. And when it doesn't have it, that also affects you mentally. It also affects you physically as far as being tired, as far as not being able to function. A lot of times by the time your body says, I need and want water, it's way past when it needed it. It also the satiety. When you think you're hungry, there are times when your body says, hey, I need water. I tell people, I compare it to an aquarium and its effective pump and filter system. And that's what water does. It filters out all the bad stuff and all the ammonias and things that go into your system. And it replenishes also all of the sweating that you do throughout the day. Even when it's not hot, your body still, lets off water. And when you don't filter, look at what happens to an aquarium. Cloudy, you can't see through it. The animals can't move through it. And water is the same way. It is your filtering system. Your body will function with no food for 72 plus hours than it will without water. You can go without food, but you cannot go without water. And then when you don't drink water, your body will hold fluid because it will not let you kill it. It will not let you dehydrate. It will hold as much fluid as it can so that it can function. Whereas the more water you put in, the less fluid that you it will filter the way it knows it's supposed to. I get people that tell me, let me run upstairs and go to the restroom all night. You think?
Well, is that you have and now that you bring that part up, there are supplements that people take that are supposed, like the thermogenic. A lot of people don't know what a thermogenic is. If you will, take a moment and explain to us what a thermogenic is and what it does.
A thermogenic is actually what all of your quote unquote fat burners are. They have the ingredients in them that raise the body temperature that's supposed to make the metabolism speed up in addition to burn more fatty tissue within the body. That is what a thermogenic is supposed to do. Okay. Which is what food actually does. The body's made up of amino acids. Amino acids, which is your people think, I don't eat meat. Well, you get protein out of other meat. But the more protein you put in your body, that elevates your body. Your body does get warmer or heats up more, so that it does burn more of the fatty tissue. Your carbohydrates don't do that. People ask, what are your carbohydrates? Well, they come in so many different forms. Your simple, your complex, your fibers. Your fibers are your veggies. Your simples are your sugars. And your complexes are your potatoes and your rices and your poppies and things like that. And keep in mind, sugar is sugar. People say, I'm eating salads and fruit and can't lose weight. Well, because your body doesn't know man-made sugar from God-made sugar. It knows when it gets an overflow, it's an overflow. So if you're eating 2 tons of fruit throughout the day and you're not putting anything else in, that sugar converts to that. Your white flour convert to sugar. Same thing. So that's all your thermogenic is supposed to do. You can do that through food. You can do that through changing your nutrition.
See, and I've been even when I was at GNC, I was not a big fan of people who wanted to utilize the thermogenics because my biggest thing was, if you have high blood pressure, that's an absolute no. You should not be utilizing it at all. Or if you're diabetic, you should not be using a thermogenic. Those things they go against some of the stuff that you are, are doing with your body. And so, but I did want to make sure we touched upon that. Now, there's another thing that I know we both have also encountered, and that is I start changing my eating, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, a diet, and the first 2 weeks, I lose, 10 pounds each week. And then all of a sudden, I don't lose it. I lose a pound or 2 pounds. Explain, if you will, what entail is that? Why does that happen? And what is it that I need to be doing if that should occur?
Well, the first thing is the body is going to react to a change, period. Anything that it hasn't been doing, a change is going to react. Just because it's something new. That's the first. A lot of that is waterways as well. If you implemented a training program and I've been doing before, and you decrease your caloric count, so that's going to happen. It takes over a 7-day period, a 3,500 caloric deficit. Whether that deficit is through both nutrition and training, or nutrition only. So we would say on Monday, I eat 1,500 calories. On Tuesday, I'm doing 1,200. On Wednesday, I'm doing 13. And so forth and so forth. caloric, 3,500 caloric deficit over 7 days to effectively lose 1 to 1.5 pounds after staying home.
Wow. So that means that we all need to make sure that we are changing our diet, putting some really healthy stuff in it, and we're making sure that we get enough sleep, because I know you really are big upon that and about putting that water into the body. So if you could, before we wrap up, do you have any advice, any comments that you would like to be able to give our audience? As you know, this is our audience. It's Real Boys Talk. So that means that it's us, you and I, it's our people that we're talking to. So talking to from one stud, dominant female, to another, what is anything that you have that you would like to put out there to say to them?
One thing that you talked about that I really think is really, really important, that we detach mentally from having a female body. And at the end of the day, unless you've done surgical changes, we still have a female body, and it has to be taken care of medically and nutritionally as such. So my thing is to get your checkup done, find out where you are, and embrace that for your health, and tie that into your nutrition. Go through your cleansing, even if it's a 7-day cleanse, 30-day cleanse, do herbal things, so that you can cleanse out the toxins in your body, find out what your blood work is, so that you know those things that you need to change, so that you can be here and be around we here at Boys Talk again.
Awesome. I do appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. You got clients and things to do, as I am a client. You know, I have to throw that in there. It's our own little joke. But I do appreciate it. If people want to get in touch with you before we end this, if they want to get in touch with you, please give them your information.
If you want to get in touch with me on Instagram, it is HardBodyDF is my Instagram. My email is ELIT_SOP09@yahoo.com. My name is Demetria L. Franklin on Facebook. Go to YouTube. It is Superior Physique by D.
Awesome.
Get me and all of those guys.
Awesome, bro. I appreciate you getting on for me. I know this is kind of late for us, but I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much for coming on and helping us out, being healthy, masculine, identified, as well as dominant, aggressive, and studs. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, bro. I love you.
Love you too, bro. So I hope you enjoyed the interview with my broad Demetria Franklin, and I hope she gave you some great advice. I hope we were able to clear up some myths and give you guys some good information on some things to be able to go forward with to do healthy living. Also, want to remind you, we will be doing our next topic is image. And we're going to take it from the image of how we as studs see ourselves, how femmes see us, and then how the community sees us. And so that will entail also and I think that's going to be a great topic, because it's going to give you an opportunity to look at how others view us and how wrong they can be in their views. Okay, and then how some stuff we perpetuate that we need to stop perpetuating. And then in the meantime, just to let you all know, this is a series, which is the Unpack Your Parachute series. So our next topic in that will be imaging. But I'm also going to just kind of do a couple of shows here and there where I'm just kind of having some fun with some friends and just talking, shooting the shit, I guess you could say, shooting the breeze, whatever. Just kind of having a topic and kind of talking about it, seeing how other people view stuff. So I hope you'll stay tuned. Again, this was Real Boys Talk. I am your host, Amber Moore. And thank you for joining me this evening. And I hope to have you join me again. Till next time.